July 10, 2024. Dawn creeps over the city of Bristol, casting pale golden light over one of the UK's most iconic landmarks, the Clifton Suspension Bridge. For over a century and a half, it's hung silently over the Avon Gorge, a majestic symbol of British engineering and resilience. But that morning, as the first commuters crossed its span, they were met with something that stopped them in their tracks. Two black suitcases, abandoned near the viewing platform, one on each side of the bridge. What was inside would stun the nation. Human remains. Not buried. Not hidden. But left in plain sight, atop a symbol of pride and history. It wasn't just a murder scene. It was a message. And the story that would follow, a tale of love, hate, and horror, would become one of the most chilling true crime sagas in modern British history. The first suitcase was spotted around 11:57 a.m. by a cyclist. It was sitting near the southwest pedestrian path, unattended, zipped up, but strangely bulging. Security protocols had tightened since similar past threats across Europe, so bridge staff were alerted immediately. Police arrived within minutes. They cordoned off the entire bridge and halted traffic on both sides. What they found inside was almost too brutal to process. A partially dismembered human torso, wrapped in black plastic and stuffed in with what appeared to be women's clothing, not belonging to the victim. Before forensics could even finish processing it, a second suitcase was found, about 50 yards across, on the north end. This one contained a head and limbs, belonging to the same body. And soon after, came an even more disturbing twist. The remains didn't belong to just one person. They belonged to two. Within 48 hours, forensic pathologists confirmed that the suitcases contained the remains of two individuals. A man in his late 20s, and a woman of similar age. Through dental records and DNA confirmation, they were identified as Cristian Santiz-Gomez, 26, and his partner, Yessica Pat, 27, both Mexican nationals living in London. They'd been reported missing just 5 days earlier. Cristian worked as a builder. Yessica was employed as a cleaner. The couple had no criminal records, no known enemies. They'd been in the UK for just under 2 years, hoping to build a new life. They were quiet, friendly, focused on work. The kind of people who blended in. So who would want them dead? And why kill them so brutally, then leave their bodies on a national landmark? Dismemberment is one thing. Public display is another. Detectives quickly realized this wasn't just about hiding bodies, it was about sending a message. The bridge, the timing, the method, it all pointed to something deliberate. The Clifton Suspension Bridge has long been a symbol of Bristol's identity. But it's also a known suicide spot, with dozens of deaths each year. That knowledge added a dark psychological layer to the case. This wasn't a dump site. This was a stage. The public display of violence, atop an iconic location, created an atmosphere of terror, and the symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. What was the killer trying to say? Police began canvassing surveillance footage from nearby traffic cameras, pedestrian paths, and even tourist photos uploaded on social media. That's when they caught their first break. At approximately 5:33 a.m. on July 10th, a man was seen dragging two suitcases across the bridge. CCTV picked him up briefly, slim build, black hoodie, gloves, surgical mask. His face wasn't visible, but the timestamp matched the exact window when investigators believed the bodies were left. They froze the footage. Enhanced it. One distinctive feature stood out. A tattoo on the left hand, partially visible when the man adjusted his grip on the suitcase. Just 2 days after the discovery, the tattoo led detectives to a match. Yessica Mascara, 34. A Colombian national. No fixed address, but known to frequent London squats and construction sites. He had a prior arrest in Spain for aggravated assault, but no major convictions in the UK. Police raided a bedsit in North London where Mascara had been staying. Inside, they found blood-stained clothes, duct tape, plastic sheeting, and, most damning of all, photos of the victims on his phone, taken before their deaths. Mascara was arrested on the spot. During interrogation, he said nothing. Not denial. Not confession. Just silence. Eyes cold. Hands folded. But what came next was even more unsettling. In a background search, detectives found something buried in the margins of his digital trail, connections to online extremist groups known for targeting LGBTQ+ individuals and immigrants. Was this personal? Or was it ideological? As investigators pieced together the couple's last known movements, a disturbing theory began to surface. Cristian and Yessica, though not publicly open about it, were believed to be part of London's underground LGBTQ+ community. Close friends said the couple faced hostility from some co-workers. There were whispers of threats. Subtle, but constant. In Mascara's phone were screenshots from social media accounts linked to Cristian. Posts showing pride flags. Emojis. Inside jokes that painted a quiet but proud identity. Was Mascara targeting them for who they loved? The police began to investigate the crime as a potential hate-motivated double murder. But Mascara's silence kept everything in limbo. Meanwhile, far-right Telegram groups across Europe celebrated the killings, calling it a cleanup. The question grew darker. Was he acting alone? Or was this part of something larger? Across the UK, the choice of location sent chills through the public. Why the Clifton suspension bridge? Experts in criminology offered multiple theories. Some said it was a statement. A desecration of a historic British icon by a foreign-born killer. Others believed it was meant to draw maximum attention. Still others whispered about copycat killers using symbolic locations to embed their horror into the national psyche. In a televised statement, the mayor of Bristol said, "This bridge is a place of beauty. To see it used for something this vile, it's not just heartbreaking. It's terrifying." Flowers, candles, and rainbow flags were left near the site. For a week, the bridge became both a crime scene and a vigil. Why were Cristian and Yessica targeted? Was it really a hate crime? Did Mascara act alone, or under someone's influence? Why choose such a public, symbolic location for the dump? What was the killer trying to tell us, or make us fear? Court proceedings began in early 2025. Mascara initially pled not guilty. But mid-trial, he withdrew his defense team, choosing to represent himself. Only to sit silently through the hearings, refusing to respond to questions. The trial ended in a hung jury. And to this day, there has been no conviction. Nearly a year later, the Clifton suspension bridge still carries thousands of people daily. Tourists take photos. Locals jog. Cyclists cross. The city keeps moving. But beneath the surface, the shadow of that day still lingers. For some, the bridge is just a landmark. But for others, it became a monument to hatred, horror, and injustice. And until the full truth is uncovered, until justice is truly served, it will remain one of the UK's most haunting modern mysteries. 2 innocent lives. A city stunned. A killer with a suitcase. And a bridge that watched it all. We may never know what was going through Yostin Mascara's mind that morning, or if someone else was pulling the strings. But one thing is certain. The Clifton suitcase murders changed the meaning of that bridge forever. Some stories don't end with answers. They end with questions. And sometimes, those questions are the scariest part of all.